Guys, we're 2 days away from UFC 285, and I'm going to give my full card predictions for almost every fight on this card. I have not been this hyped up for a card since UFC 280, but thinking back on that one, it kind of didn't play out that well. I was picking Charles. He got squashed. There were a lot of lackluster fights on it. So if I'm really thinking about it, bro, this is going to be special. It might be better than Conor and Khabib if all things go well. If you know what I mean. You guys know who I'm picking in the main event, but let's just get into it. I'm not going to front and act like I know every single fighter on this card. Esteban versus Loic, bro. I'm not going to act like I know those guys. Damon Blackshear, Farid Basharat. Now, I know that name, Farid Basharat, but I'm going to pick him because we already know this guy's going to have some talent. The name has lots of value, and Damon Blackshear has lost to Chris the Can Moutinho. Right? The guy who got famous from being on the wrong side of a record-setting O'Malley whooping just over a year ago. So if you're losing to Chris the Can, how could I possibly pick you against Farid Basharat? There's just no way. I'm going to pick Basharat, and I'm going to pick him by decision. All right? Cameron Simon, Mana Martinez. I'm picking Cameron Simon. This guy is a phenomenal prospect. Looked really good at UFC 282. Right, where Dricus du Plessis took on Darren Till and absolutely just humiliated Darren and ended his UFC career. Cameron Simon looked really good on that too. That was his UFC debut, and he's a really good striker, and I guarantee you this guy has some good submissions in his arsenal. He's training with Dricus du Plessis, who's a great grappler, and that's also a really good guy to look up to. That's a good person to have in your corner, especially that both of them are from South Africa and they want to make a statement for that country. Not a lot of fighters from South Africa. Mana Martinez is pretty decent on the feet, but I'm going to pick Cameron Simon. I think he's probably going to get this one done by decision. Here is where we get to a really interesting fight. Ian Garry and Song the Old Man Kenan. Song Kenan has been knocked out by Israel Adesanya, right? So you know he's old because this is way back in the day. And he's been KO'd by Brad, Pillow Hands, Mediocre Riddell. And I just don't see him beating Ian Garry, who is a sharpshooter on the feet that showed to have a pretty mature fight IQ in his last one out. He lost the second round against Gabriel Green and showed a sense of urgency in the third round. Really tuned it up. Like really brought himself up to a next level of aggression against Gabriel Green after losing the second round to him. And just pieced him up. And even if he doesn't get a knockout over Song Kenan, which is what I'm predicting, by the way, I think he's going to go in there and knock the old man out. He's just going to dance around him for 3 rounds, stay on the outside, and pick him apart to a decision. I think this is going to be the big statement for Ian Garry. Fans don't really like this guy because he came into the scene after that KO in his UFC debut and said, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over. Of course, you're going to get called the Conor wannabe. The guy has kind of a little bit of a weird personality. It's all about like being the next big thing in Ireland. And people just immediately don't want to see that, of course. But I do think that people are going to start to respect his game, given that he did have that UFC debut KO, a clean KO after getting touched up a little bit. But then he had 2 pretty good decisions. Now you'll be 4-0. Now you'll just be coming off of a KO over Song Kenan. And I think people are going to get a little bit more familiar with his face, and I think he'll call out someone that we actually know. So he'll move past all of these, lesser known guys. I think this is going to be Ian Garry's first big moment, and I think he's going to get a big KO over Song Kenan. Julian Marquez, Marc-Andre Barriault. I'm going to pick Julian Marquez by finish, bro. See a lot of people picking Marc-Andre Barriault, but I know that he got knocked out senseless by Gregory Rodriguez, Julian Marquez in his last bout. But I think this guy's style is just fireworks, man. I think it's going to catch a guy who's as composed as Marc-Andre Barriault off guard. And I think he's going to wrap him up and make a big statement again to let everyone know that he's back and he's back to bring on the wars. He has a really high-paced style. I think he's going to submit Marc-Andre Barriault in the second round. That's my pick. Amanda Ribas. I like the way she looks. She's got a good personality, bro. And Viviana Araújo is a little bit old. I'm rocking with Amanda Ribas. But actually, guys, she did get KO'd on the McGregor-Poirier card a few years ago. Can't believe that was a few years ago. The rematch, McGregor and Poirier. And ever since then, I've thought to myself, damn, man, her chin looked like shit in that fight in which she got KO'd. And I just wrote her off a little bit, but she bounced back. She got a win since then. She had a close fight with Chikagian. And, Viviana Araujo is old. She has a shitload of decisions on her record, and Amanda Ribas is young. She's learned from that defeat most likely, and I think she'll get this one done. I think she's going to win by submission. That's right. I think she's going to get a finish. She's an interesting cat, man. I like Amanda Ribas. What can I say? But let's get into the real fucking fights that we really want to hear about. Derek Brunson and Dricus du Plessis. These guys are very similar. Dricus du Plessis is like a young Derek Brunson. And man, I think they're going to mirror each other, to be honest. They're both really good grapplers. Of course, Derek Brunson has the wrestling style of grappling. He likes to get you into a half guard position. He likes to get into a mount position. That's where he does his best work, with the ground and pound. And he actually looked pretty good in his last fight against Jared Cannonier. He was beating Jared's ass in the first round on the ground before he eventually got finished in that fight. But listen, his chin is way worse than it's ever been. This guy got rocked by Darren Till. He doesn't have a lot to offer on the feet. I'm going to go with Dricus du Plessis, and I'm going to pick him by KO. I think a big, strong, athletic guy like Dricus du Plessis is going to be able to keep this fight standing for at least some moments. Of course, he could get taken down, but he's so good on the ground. He's so strong. I think he'll be just fine. I think he'll be prepared for Derek Brunson. And in a way, this is like the one guy I don't see Derek Brunson completely bullying when he takes him down. I think Dricus can be taken down. He was taken down by Darren Till in their fight, but I think that's more of just he wasn't expecting it. He'll be ready for the wrestling this time. I just think that if Derek Brunson takes him down, he's not just going to cut through him like butter, as he's been able to do to guys in the past. Right? We've seen Derek Brunson beat the shit out of guys like Darren Till, like Edmund Shabazian on the ground. He's shown to be a great wrestler even in the latter half of his career. He's really good at landing damage on the ground. That's what I like out of Derek Brunson's game. But on the feet, dude, he's just an old version of Dricus du Plessis with no chin. And he's a little bit, if anything, slower than he's ever been and more orthodox than Dricus du Plessis. And if you're old and you're slow and you're stiff and you don't have the same power, you don't have the same chin against a guy who is as unorthodox as Dricus du Plessis, although Dricus is not by any means a high-level striker, he does have power. And I think he's just going to be the younger dude. I think he's going to get the KO by being younger. You know what I mean? I'm picking Dricus du Plessis by KO over Derek Brunson. I think he's going to knock him out, and I think he's going to get it done in the first or second round. That's my pick. What do you guys think? Some people are picking him to win by decision, some by submission. Not many people picking Derek Brunson. I just don't think he has the ability to keep a guy like Dricus in the half guard position and just sun him down there. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Dricus du Plessis. Big KO, right hand, Superman punch, spinning back fist, something crazy from Dricus du Plessis. And we'll have another win for South Africa on the board. Moving on, Cody Garbrandt, Trevin Jones. Hey, man, I know Trevin Jones does not have a good record at all. I know this guy has lost a fuckload in the UFC. The dude has one win in the UFC over Mario Batista, who actually is a really good fighter. Found the KO in that one. And I almost want to pick Cody Garbrandt just because I feel like this is a big step back in competition. He just lost to Kai Kara France, who is a really good striker, right? He got dominated by Rob Font for 5 rounds. Before that, he got the KO over Rafael Assunção. And before that, he got KO'd by, Pedro Munoz. I think that Cody Garbrandt's going to get knocked out again in this one. There are just some guys that for the rest of their time fighting in MMA, I'm going to pick them to lose by KO every time. And Cody Garbrandt is one of those people. It doesn't matter how long of a layoff he has. I heard Dan Hardy talking about that and how, man, Cody Garbrandt with all this time off, I think he'll be able to get it done. This dude has taken a lot of time off in between his fights. Even when this guy gets beat by decision, he bounces back and gets KO'd, and he takes a long time off. So that means nothing to me that he's been out for a long time and refreshed his chin. I don't think it's going to be a Luke Rockhold situation, right? Because I did pick Luke Rockhold to get KO'd by Paulo Costa, and he actually looked decent, especially with his toughness in that fight. I don't think it's going to go in the favor of the older guy who has lost his chin this time. And I will not be embarrassed. I think Cody Garbrandt's only way to win this fight is by wrestling. And he can, if he has put in a full training camp of hardcore grappling, get this fight to the ground. I just don't think he's going to be able to do that, man. I think he's going to go out there and try to mix it up, man. And I think that'll be a really bad decision for him because, sure, Trevin Jones isn't that great on the feet. He's not that fast. He's not even that powerful. He's like a very mediocre fighter that's basically on the verge of getting cut anyway. I still think he's going to KO Garbrandt, bro. I think he's going to knock him out, man. I can't see Cody Garbrandt winning. It's going to be like another Dominic Reyes situation with Ryan Spann. I honestly think he should hang him up. And it almost seems cruel. This guy's been knocked out so much. He's old now. He's a favorite. Bet on Trevin Jones, bro. If I was doing a parlay, I'd bet on Trevin Jones to knock his ass out in the first round. That's what I'm going with. Bo Nickal, Jamie Pickett. You guys already know I'm rocking with the underdog. And some of you guys are going to get caught off guard. I'm picking Jamie Pickett to get destroyed by Bo Nickal. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm picking Bo Nickal by first round KO. Not submission. I think if I were in Bo Nickal's corner, I would be pleading to just shoot for a takedown, get it on the ground, and do everything in your power to just secure the win. Just ride him out. Gas him out. Bully him on the ground. If the submission presents itself, go for it. If the finish presents itself on the ground, go for it. I think that he's so confident in his wrestling that he knows Jamie Pickett is probably going to be worried about that takedown. He's going to be shitting himself. That's all this guy's been doing, sprawling for takedowns. And we know that when guys put their all into one specific thing during their training camp, the other parts of the game might start to fall behind in the fight. He might not look as sharp on the feet. And a guy who has spent their entire life wrestling with those explosive movements, we've seen he has like a big, powerful right hand. I think he's going to knock Jamie Pickett the fuck out. And I think it's going to happen in the first round. Overhand right, something sneaky. Who knows, bro? I mean, this guy is such an athlete, bro. Such an athletic freak. The way he's been able to like throw his right hand, land a big shot, and at the same time catch a leg and sweep these guys off of their feet. I mean, we hardly ever see something like that in MMA. He's going to win this fight no matter what happens. Unless someone throws a banana peel into the cage and he slips on it and some freak injury happens, Bo Nickal's going to win. I just think it's going to be by KO. I think he's going to want Jamie Pickett to come at him a little bit. I think he's going to want to take it a little bit easy. He's not just going to want to get in there and shoot straight on like a Ben Askren to catch a big knee in the face. I think it'd be smart for him to wrestle and just bank on that. But I think he's rightfully confident. And I think he's going to get this one done by KO over Jamie Pickett. There's going to be a big headline. And I'm happy to see it. I'm a big fan of Bo Nickal. This guy can talk shit. He can back it up. He's supremely confident. And he's one of the only American guys with like a big personality. And you'll see, man. I love it when he talks shit to guys that are highly ranked in the middleweight division because most of those guys have been beating up on straight cans for a while. And I honestly think in a few years, this guy's going to be champ. He's going to get this one done by KO. Mark it down. Jalin Turner, Mateusz Gamrot. I'm going with Turner by KO. Mateusz Gamrot leaves his chin exposed, and he's never fought someone as powerful, as well-rounded, with the ability to finish someone as fast as Jalin Turner. And I think that because he gets caught at the end of his exchanges, a guy who has the power of a Jalin Turner, the piston of a left hand, he's a southpaw, right? Those brutal left hooks that can be followed up instantly by a body shot. I think Jalin Turner's going to KO him, even if he gets taken down in the first round. I don't see Gamrot submitting him. I don't see Gamrot just securing him down there. I think the length of a Jalin Turner might cause some problems for him insofar as him getting taken down with a single leg, but I think it'll be useful for him to just throw some submissions up there just to make sure that Mateusz Gamrot doesn't just bully his way into a really good position. And Mateusz Gamrot struggles with holding people down for long periods of time. He's good at getting takedowns. He can latch onto a submission every now and then, but his top control is not that great. It leaves a lot to be desired. We've seen guys like Scott Holtzman just bounce right back up to their feet. And Jalin Turner is so much better since his last loss to Matt Frevola. I think he's going to knock out Mateusz Gamrot at the end of one of their exchanges. He's going to catch him. He's going to wobble him. And because he's so good at latching onto a submission, at just finishing guys once they have him hurt, he's like a young Dustin Poirier with the way he's able to get guys out of there. I think he's going to get it done. And I can't wait for this fight, because if I'm right, I'm going to tell all of you I told you so. I truly believe that Jalin Turner is like the next guy. I think he's a top 3 striker in the lightweight division. He's so dangerous. And I can't wait for this fight. There's a chance Mateusz Gamrot can get it done by decision. Maybe he takes Jalin down, subs him in the first minute when they're dry. I don't think that's going to happen, bro. I think Jalin Turner is going to be ready with the knees, with the left hand. Mateusz Gamrot gets dropped a lot in his fights. If you really just watch his fights back, he gets dropped in almost every other fight. He has a good chin because of the cardio. I think Turner's ready. I think he'll have time on the feet to be able to make something happen. That's my pick. Jalin Turner. I'll go with him. I'll go with him by a second round KO, baby. Second round KO for Jalin Turner. Geoff, Neal, Shavkat, Rakhmonov. I think that Geoff Neal's coming into this one with some Gilbert Burns type of energy, and I don't think Shavkat's just going to walk through him and finish him in the first round. I am picking Shavkat, and I'm picking him by second round submission over Geoff Neal. I think that Geoff Neal is going to be training the hardest he's ever trained. I think he's going to be doing everything in his power to get ready for Shavkat, and I think he'll be more prepared for Shavkat than anyone's ever been, because he's basically had 2 training camps now. Yeah, he was the reason why the first fight was called off, because he got injured. Maybe that's not great, and that's another reason why you might not want to pick him. I think he'll be able to give Shavkat some problems. His speed on the feet, his power, like Shavkat has some shit to watch out for, because this is not a guy you want to get hit for by. And I think that Geoff Neal is going to be able to go in there and at least give Shavkat some resistance in the early minutes of the first round. But I think as the fight progresses, as Shavkat Rakhmonov is able to stay calm and composed under the pressure, I think he'll just find a way to take Geoff Neal down, maybe clinch him up against the cage, land a trip, and just slow him down on the ground and bully him into a submission. I think that's what's going to happen. Shavkat Rakhmonov is so skilled. I think he's so composed, and it's one of his most impressive attributes. I think he's going to get it done by submission in the second round. I just think Geoff Neal is going to have a few moments where he can land some big shots on Shavkat. I don't see Shavkat just running through him. And I also think that if it's a fight on the feet, Shavkat Rakhmonov, tall, long guy, rangy striker, good kicks, I think he'll be able to keep Geoff Neal at the end of his jab. And Geoff Neal struggled with those taller guys. I mean, this guy lost Neil Magny. Of course, he wasn't able to do anything to Wonderboy, but Wonderboy is just a completely different style. But there is something to be said about him being like a rangy fighter. So I think Shavkat Rakhmonov gets it done by decision, but I would probably bank on a second round submission. So one or the other. I think he'll be winning on the feet. I think just the speed and power of Geoff Neal is going to present a problem in the beginning of the fight. But as he gets a little tired and Shavkat clinches up with him, locks up with him, I think that's the downfall when he realizes how strong Rakhmonov is, how skilled he is. I'm going to pick Rakhmonov. Valentina Shevchenko, Alexa Grasso. I'm going to go with Valentina Shevchenko by decision. Minus 730, dude. Her last performance wasn't impressive. She's getting older. Yada, yada, yada. I'm just going to pick her by decision, bro. Like, sure, she can get a finish, but whatever. I'm not even that hyped up about this fight. It's Valentina Shevchenko. You know she's good. Facing an opponent that's not worthy, I would much rather see her fighting Erin Blanchfield. So that'll be a fight where I actually give you a little bit more in-depth of a prediction, but I'm not going to lie, man. I almost don't even give a shit about this fight. Let's just move on to the main event, okay? Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane. If Ciryl Gane doesn't oblique kick Jon Jones and stomp on his knee in the first few rounds, I'm going to be pissed. Because Jon Jones is going in there with all the dirty techniques, with the eye pokes, with the knee stomps, with the arm wrenching. Ciryl Gane, he can do all of the same things. I just think he needs to fucking go out there and do it. Fuck being the nice guy. Jon Jones is not going to be a nice guy. If he wanted to kill you in there, if he could, he would. You know what I mean? So, like, stomp his knee, bro. Please stomp his knee. I'm picking Ciryl Gane by decision, guys. 49-46 or 50-45. That's my pick. I think this guy's wrestling is underrated. He's so athletic. He's so agile. I think he's been able to improve massively. I've heard him talk in an interview with Brett Okamoto, and he seems so fucking confident, man, about his wrestling. When Brett Okamoto asked about his wrestling, he was like, dude, I was worried about the power with Francis Ngannou. I did not work on my wrestling that much leading into that fight, and when you're in front of Francis, you just don't want to get touched. You know that guy can nuke you with one shot. He does not have to worry about that. In this fight, he has to worry about the takedown threat. And Jon Jones is going to look stiffer. He's going to look slower. He's on the decline. Screw all your edits from 2015. That one is long gone. He's going to have to reinvent himself. He's no longer fighting 5'10" tubby middleweights, bro. He is going to get in there and fight a guy that can do everything that he can do on the feet, but better and faster and more effortless because they don't have all that added weight. Jon Jones, with every kick he throws, it's going to be a little bit more tiresome for him with the added weight, man. I don't think he's going to be able to have the same output, and I don't think he's going to have more power. I don't. I'm not someone that's going to just see, oh, Jon Jones at heavyweight's going to be knocking guys out. This dude has pillow hands. And I think that Ciryl Gane's going to get in there. I think he's going to oblique kick Jon Jones early on. I think he's going to smash him with body kicks. That jab is going to make the biggest difference. That's ultimately what I see as being Ciryl Gane's path to victory. Sprawling the takedowns, using that athleticism, your agility to sprawl those takedowns. This dude is so talented, man. I know he can get it done. Float like a butterfly. Sprawl like Robert fucking Whittaker. I could see it right now. Just moving nonstop, not getting tired because he's used to fighting in that frame. And planting that jab on the nose of Jon Jones for 5 rounds straight when Jon Jones has no answer for it, getting in on the inside, blitzing him down every now and then. He's not just going to sit in on the outside. He has to be first. He has to be first, like a Dominic Reyes. Just be first as a Ciryl Gane, and you'll fucking get it done, man. I promise you, Ciryl. If you're first as Ciryl Gane, you'll get it done because you have that added size. You have a much better reach. Your jab is way better than Dominic Reyes, bro. And you're so much more like equipped to stuff takedowns. If Dominic Reyes was ready for the takedowns, I think he'll be ready for the takedowns. He's going to blitz him down every now and then like he did to Alexander Volkov, get in his face, show Jon Jones that, listen, you're not going to come in here and put me up against the cage. I'm not going to counter-strike. You're not going to know what I'm doing. I'm going to sit at range. I'm going to plant the jab on your face, and every now and then I'm going to blitz you down and fuck you up. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stomp on that knee. Spinning back kick to the body. No power coming my way that I have to worry about. Ciryl Gane gets it done by decision. Pieces Jon Jones up. Maybe Jon Jones can take one round if he can secure a takedown and get some kind of a weird round in his favor where he barely does any damage, doing everything in his power to keep Ciryl down. Ciryl Gane is going to be able to, on the ground, like just not get bullied down there, man. I just think this dude is so underrated when it comes to his ground game. I can't wait. You guys can hear it in my voice. I sound like a giddy little kid right now. That's how excited I am for this fight. Because I could see it all, man. I could see it all. Gane, go out there, stomp this guy's kneecap, and let him know that he's not going to go in there and bully his son. You know? You have to do it. You have to be mean. Please stomp this motherfucker's knee. Someone commented that on my official prediction video, and they were like, dude, if Gane doesn't have oblique kicks in this one, I'm going to be pissed. Same. Because he knows Jones is going to do it, and that is a technique that can change the fight. Stomp his knee, bro. I think he's going to get it, guys. You guys know I'm rocking with Ciryl Gane. I'm pulling for him hard. I think he can get it done 49-46 or 50-45. Please leave a like and subscribe. Until next time.